my biz, ain't no interruption. I just let my money talk, it ain't no discussion.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Biscuit Head back from the halftime show, the halftime company. Those of you that know me know that I'm a very big football fan, and the greatest football game that's probably ever going to have come out to date is coming out very soon. NCAA 25. Could not be more excited about it. So I wanted to get into about the first 10, 11 teams that I think are flying under the radar. You know, they're really not being talked about by a lot of people. Obviously, there's some big names out there that are going to have tradition and going to be fun to play with, like Oregon and Texas and, Florida State. There's some big schools out there that everybody knows about. But I feel like there's some teams out there that are really not getting enough recognition, enough love, that are going to be really fun to play with in Dynasty, just based on however you feel like you want to play. Or however you're going to play that dynasty with that group of friends or whatever friends you own the game with. So with that being said, before I get into it, though, please like, share, and subscribe. We are so grateful for our community, and we appreciate you guys supporting us and being along to tune into the latest content. So we're going to keep bringing you different things, and this is another step in that direction. I'm going to be really heavily invested in NCAA 25. And so, why not share some of the teams that I'm really looking at and looking forward to. So without further ado, let's get into the first one. First, number one, we got FIU, So first things first about FIU, you obviously in Florida, right? Florida's got good weather. We all know this about Florida. We all have been, you've probably been to Florida. If you haven't, I'm sorry about that, because it's a great place to go be and visit. And it's beautiful. So you got that going for you. Not to mention, FIU, Pipeline State, you gonna get recruits. It's gonna be easy to get recruits. They're gonna want to stay close to home, and boom, you in one of the big three, I would say, states for football in the country that just produce NFL level talent consistently, straight out of the high school level. Straight into college. They just got beasts all over the place. So big time school. That's not really been performing all that well as of late. I mean, they've done decently, but again, they're looking for somebody, a coach or a player, could be you, to take them to the next level. And not to mention, we haven't even got into the jerseys. Stadium is very cool. You're gonna have a great atmosphere. Obviously, you're gonna normally have good weather, which is something to look forward to if you're an offensive guy. But the jerseys, we haven't even got into the jerseys. The jersey selection in NCAA is going to be the best it's ever been. And they've got all of the rights to all the different jerseys that the schools have. Well, good news if you like FIU. They got a range of jerseys they got a black and pink. They got a light blue, a dark blue. They've got a white, I think, somewhere. They got all different kinds of jerseys. So it's going to be one of those ones that as your dynasty progresses, as your team progresses, and you become upper echelon, you're going to be able to swag out. You're going to be able to use different color combinations when you customizing your dues, which is going to bring more fun and more, it's going to be more refreshing as you're trying to go through and as your team begins its climb to the top. So that's the number one team, I would say, FIU. The next big one that it's been talked about a little bit, but I think it's flying under the radar again because they just lost, the biggest player, in college football, and that's Caleb Williams. So obviously USC is going to be another good one. One, because they're going to have so much tradition. It's going to be probably one of the easier schools on this list to rebuild. They have a lot of historical success. They have a lot of tradition. They're going to have the animations for the Trojan running out in the middle of the field and spiking his sword into the ground. It's going to be very cool. And I'm sure NCAA has done a great job with getting that animation into the game. It's going to really hype you up as you head into big games, and the atmosphere, obviously, in USC is going to be vibing. It's going to be a lot of people there. They're very hectic. And you don't have a great playbook. So, obviously Lincoln Riley's still there. So you could choose to be a coordinator. If you want to start as a coordinator, I think this is a fantastic place to start. If you want to be on the defensive side, this is a great team because if you can play good defense, the offense is going to pretty much take care of itself. USC is going to have a good playbook. Lincoln Riley's the head coach. They're going to have a ton of passing options. So, again, if you want to be OC instead, you're going to have a great playbook to use to get down the field, to get vertical, to use your good recruits and put them into space. So that's another, I think, top tier team, not to mention you playing in the Coliseum. It's a historic stadium. You're going to, again, love USC. Think a lot of people are going to really enjoy playing them in in dynasty mode, and then maybe even road to glory, putting your player over there and kind of rejuvenating a school that has had some very historic moments, but has not been able to quite climb the mountain as of late. So moving on down to the next one on the list, a awesome school. I love this school. This is a school that's trending as of late, I would say, trending upwards in the right direction. You got the Houston Cougars. Houston is a booming city, tons of people, tons of talent. And so you're going to be obviously in Texas, which is a hotbed for NFL talent and college talent alike. So you're going to be able to pipeline in areas that are, have just talent pouring out of them when you're recruiting. And you're going to be right next to a lot of hotbeds again for talent that are in Oklahoma, or you can get people in the southern states, and you're not too far away. They won't be too far away from home, so you won't get that disadvantage when going to recruit. And then not to mention Houston put in one of our favorite players. If you know us, we love us some Tank Dell. Tank Dell is going to be one of the game changers, and he already is one of the game changers, but he's going to continue to change the game, and I think he's doing it in a way that's very unique and very cool. So, and obviously, this isn't about Tank, but he came from Houston. All right, so Houston's getting talent. They're on the come up. They performed well. They haven't gotten to the top, but they're in a division or a conference that you're going to really be able to thrive in. There's not a ton of top level, elite level competition. So if you can come in and use what they've got, which is already, I would say, upper echelon in the conference, you can attain, greatness probably a lot quicker than a lot of people think. They've got a really good passing playbook. They're going to air it out if you're going to have a challenge on defense. But that's, again, part of the rebuild. They got great jerseys. Houston's got some very, very cool, red, white, light blue. They got different kinds of helmets. Houston swagged out. So you're going to have a lot of options, a lot of different colors to be able to choose from. And they're real unique. So, again, another great dynasty team. Moving down the list, Wake Forest. And a lot of people, y'all gonna go, wow, why Wake Forest? What does Wake Forest have to offer? I mean, it's a little bit of a rebuild. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that it's, the easiest, but we're not here for easy, right? When you're doing dynasty, you trying to rebuild some things. You're trying to test yourself. You're trying to do different stuff, experience different levels of the sport, and rebuilding from that point. So Wake Forest, they're in a tougher conference, a better conference of the league. And they got, and uniform wise, we're not talking anything crazy. They got, the black and the white, and they got a little, gold in there. But at the end of the day, this game is also about creating a vibe and an atmosphere. And one of the coolest things that they're going to do is have very realistic introductions into football games. And Wake Forest happens to have one of the absolute coolest intros, one of the coolest, things, I say, traditions about the game. And that is the Demon Deacon riding his motorcycle onto the field with the team pregame, getting everybody hyped. It's a school that's not, they're known for their football. I mean, I would say that they've had some success. They haven't quite gotten to the top and become a top tier program by any means, but they've also had some success, and they've got some good players. They've had some players go to the NFL and be on rosters. So I think it's another good school if you're looking for a challenge. But you want to also, again, have that kind of pregame tradition vibe. It's guaranteed to be in there. You're going to have, to be able to set new records and try to do new things that Wake Forest has not achieved as a program, which is always fun to set your own records. So again, very cool, very, very cool school to rebuild. Possibly, they got a very cool stadium, I would say. One of the stadiums that is unique because it had the turf in the end zones. I would say the black and gold. Is not something that you see. It's not a color combination you see very much in the NCAA. But moving on, and the next two big ones, two of my favorites, I would say, are Army and Navy. Another two you might scratch your head at first, but you got to hear me out. Okay, first of all, we all know that the Army-Navy game is one of the biggest traditions, one of the biggest games in college football, one of the best atmospheres, I'm sure, for any of those who have been a part of it. It's a huge rivalry for obvious reasons. And the cool thing about them is they don't really play the same. They obviously both play tough football, but they don't play in in the same fashion, as in Army is probably going to be one of the best schools to run the ball with. They're going to have a very good playbook for running the ball in the triple option. You're going to be able to utilize multiple backs and get people into space and have multiple reads and options that are going to be hard to stop, especially if you don't have top tier defenders on your D line or in your linebacking core. If that's the case, Army will run all over you. They're a dark horse school, I would say. It's going to be harder to get them into the playoff and then win with them. But if you can, and you can get and establish some more prestige and some more historic tradition in terms of winning, I would say, then they're going to be a really good school from a play standpoint to be able to run a run oriented offense and kind of a defensive team. I mean, they have all of the groundwork in place. And again, I think their playbook will end up being one of the most fun playbooks to use in NCAA if you like to run the ball and you like to get multiple backs involved. Navy, in contrast, is going to be one of the schools that airs it out a little bit more. They're going to be more balanced, not quite so one-sided on offense. Still tough on defense. I think they've not had as much success as of late against Army. But again, that's what you're there to do. You are there to revive and revitalize a school that has potential but hasn't quite gotten there yet. Navy Stadium is historic. It's not anything too crazy, but it's historic, and they've got tons of fans, and it's packed out. They've got very cool uniforms. They've got a white, they've got a blue, they've got some patriotic vibes. They got some stars on the side. It's definitely something that you won't be tired of seeing, that you can go and drip out, and you'll be very excited to use and see from a game to game, week to week basis, and to kind of use as your dynasty launching pad. The next team, if you played NCAA at all, really, before it stopped coming out, then the school that I'm talking about, Virginia Tech. They are notorious. Back in the day, they were always, always, always in the conversation for one of the best schools in the nation. I don't know why it was always that way. They were up and down. They definitely had success, but they in NCAA, they were always in the top tier of teams. They were always getting good recruits. I remember playing them in so many big games. On top of the fact that they have one of the coolest traditions in the game, it will be in the game in some capacity. So Virginia Tech is definitely a top tier school that you'll want to use. They have unique color patterns. They got some orange, they got the maroon, they got the white. That's all going to be good and fun. You can go and rebuild the legacy of the once great Mike Vick. If you like dual threat, you want to have a dual threat quarterback, what better place to go than back to where it started? Go to Virginia Tech and relive it, redo it, bring Michael Vick 2.0 in and go light the world on fire in terms of, bringing the fear of Virginia Tech back, because it's been kind of lost a little bit. They haven't been great as of late, but they have all the groundwork. They got historical, they got traditions, they got good coaching. So I think it's a very underrated, very good team that you could potentially use in Dynasty and have a lot of fun with and a lot of success with very quickly. Now, this next team, you're not going to expect. But let me just preface it. And if you really know your stuff, they're one of the 6 teams in college football that plays in an NFL stadium. I'll give you a second, but you're not going to guess it. But Pittsburgh. I'm not talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm talking about Pitt University. Okay. I know. Why are they on the list? Well, first of all, Heinz Field, right? They're going to play it in an NFL stadium. That's super cool. All the details of the NFL stadium will be in NCAA. They've made sure of that. So you're going to be playing in a very big, very loud. They don't have the same color scheme as any of these other teams on the list. They've got yellow and blue. They got some darker blue and some gold. They got some different jerseys that you're going to be able to use at Pitt. Not quite as many options as some of the other teams on the list, but they also have a very good bare bones. They're a tough team. They're going to have a solid defense. You're going to have to do a little rebuilding, but they're also not a bottom tier team by any means. They have pieces that can compete and you can win with early. If if you know what you're doing back there, it definitely comes down to the coach. You got to do your part. Okay, so don't come back to me and say, "Hey, Pitt wasn't it," because Pitt could be it. Okay, Pitt could be it, and not to mention if you really want to be great and you really know how to get interceptions on defense, they've got one of the coolest celebrations in the game. I mean, who doesn't want to dunk a basket? Who doesn't want to dunk on somebody after you get a turnover? Like, what are we doing? One of the coolest celebrations. You're going to be able to hit that on the regular. On the regular. I'm doing dunks every interception I get. You're going to be sick of me. You're going to think I'm playing basketball. I get so many interceptions. It's going to be wild. So, Pitt, put them on your list. Put them on your radar. If you see somebody using Pitt, it might be me, especially if you see them online. So, just look out because, hey, don't let me dunk you. Moving on. I got, one more name for you to complete my top 10. Whew, we ran through that pretty quick. Mississippi State is the final team. Mississippi State, well-known tradition school. Obviously, they got the maroon and white. Can't go wrong. They're gonna be popping. They got a big stadium. They're in a challenging conference in the SEC, so you're really gonna have to be on your toes and be able to really recruit early. But if you're able to do that and you're able to find success in the SEC, the ceiling is high very quickly because obviously it's a competitive conference. You're going to have a lot of top ranked games. If you can win those games, recruits will notice that. And even more so if you're able to invite your recruits to those games. So you're going to have the prestige of the conference in your back pocket. You're going to have some school prestige and some good traditions lined up, ready to go, ready to rumble. Mississippi State. Put them on your list. Use them. Enjoy them. Go win the SEC with the team that is not Alabama, is not LSU. It doesn't need to be UT. All right, go give yourself a challenge. Go rebuild. Go build Mississippi State into something they wish to be, they long to be, and who knows, one day maybe they will be. That completes my 10. Now, I bet you thought I was going to finish, but guess what? I'll throw in a bonus just because I love y'all, and I'm gonna give y'all a little, another inside tip. Because if you're somebody that likes to build your I gave you a bunch of different schools. First of all, I gave you a bunch of different schools with a bunch of different styles of play. If you like to run the ball, if you like to air the ball out, if you want to play on defense, if you want to, go somewhere for tradition, if you want to go somewhere for the jerseys, FIU. We'll say it one more time, FIU, or Houston. But again. You got options. You definitely got options. There's going to be a lot of good schools that you don't have to pick at the top tier because you're going to make your friends mad. We all know everybody's sick of the dude who takes the best school. I don't know how y'all play, but you might be playing by star rating. So if it's a 1-star across the board, everybody got to use 1 stars. There are going to be some of these teams in there, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star. There's going to be some of these teams available to you to use. So pick them. And without further ado, let me give you the bonus team. All right. The bonus team is Notre Dame. What? Notre Dame? That's lame. I already know. I know. But hear me out. They're independent. You're going to be able to set your conference schedule basically as you like. You have your own custom conference. So year to year, you can change it up. If different conferences become good, easily you're basically in a whole new conference. You can pick different schools to use. So you're going to be able to get around and see a lot of the scenes. You could schedule a bunch of away games to go experience all the great traditions. Penn State, Mississippi State, Virginia Tech, all these great entrances and environments where the fans are really rocking and the screen's shaking and it's really challenging, So they're a great school if you want to do that. Or on the inverse, if you don't want to play a hard schedule and you want to try to play some cupcakes to get through the year in your first couple of years as you build your team up, but they're a solid team, pretty good team to start with, and you'll be able to customize your schedule and your essentially your conference how you like. Which gives you I would say, a competitive advantage over some of the other schools that are locked into playing schools that may recruit better than them or may have, just have people graduate and have to fill gaps. Other teams just happen to have, better players now for. So just something to keep in mind as you continue to look at what teams you're going to pick because you've only got about, 3 weeks until NCAA 25. All right. And then it's gonna be great. I know. I've heard some of the rumors. It's not gonna be a Madden clone. I've heard some people say that too. It's not. I promise you, it's not. It's gonna be a whole different game. People probably not gonna get Madden. I'm not gonna get Madden. I'm gonna be on NCAA strictly, fully. And you'll see more content to come. I'll give y'all some more tips on how to play, what playbooks are gonna work, what things are gonna work in terms of recruiting. So just stay tuned. Peep the list, lock in with your boy, and go play. Go tell your bros who you playing in NCAA with, because if you don't call them now, somebody else might call them. They might see this video and call them, and you're gonna be sick because they're gonna be, swagged out, and you're gonna be using some basic, just solid uniform when you could have had black and pink with some palm trees on the side of your helmet. Like, we could have really been doing something big, but no, we wanted to be normal. So it's up to you though. Hey, you'll be great. But that's all I got for you. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, again, please like, follow, share, subscribe. We always appreciate it, and we appreciate you. And with that, we out.